In a land of gods and monsters, I was the angel who got his hand caught in the fire and liked how it felt. I've been more desperate than you'll ever known, but I've never knelt. I've never prayed. I never thought that there was something out there that could change how I felt. I'd rather burn with the blaze inside of myself than simply melt like the ice of the mold I was frozen in by my grief, when I believed that the only way I could honor those who I lost was to live inside of my memories. Now I'm not sure of what I believe, but I know that nobody can touch my soul. The darkness that used to consume me like a black hole is now nothing more than a cloak I use to protect myself from the real demons out there. What used to strangle me now comforts me. What used to control me now walks alongside me. I don't know where I'm going, but I sure as hell won't know that it won't be as dark as where I was. Maybe it'll be heaven. Whatever, wherever, whatever it is. There's one thing that I'll never surrender, that nobody can ever take, nobody can ever touch, can ever reach. And the only thing I know for certain now is that you don't have to bleed to remember, and that you don't have to find faith in order to forget. You say that our days are numbered. Embers of the roaring amber glow of youth begin to flicker and fade in the first spits of this drizzly autumn rain that we used to chase when we were still rosy-cheeked teens, tracing our lifelines in the condensation of a single pane window in a smoky bedroom, where we painted our own rainbows, dazzling color in the dowsing drowsiness that we drowned ourselves in, until it froze over and we found ourselves at the surface. We pushed ourselves to the surface and taught ourselves to figure skate over the frozen rapids, creating beautiful outlines over the tide lines that used to consume us. They didn't kill us, even when the ice began to crack. We danced over the lines, over the lakes, until we found the land that we thought would lead us down the right track. Now I don't know where we are, but I just want to feel the heating of an old, beaten up car. It's not about where we're going. We know it won't take us very far. But we didn't care about where we were going as much as we thought we did. All that mattered was that moment and the parts of ourselves that lived and died inside of it. Sometimes I wish that haze had taken me with it, left me frozen in time, like a frozen fallen leaf frozen in the lake, crystallized forever in something so still, yet so alive. Because to be honest, I've never been more terrified. So into the rapids of the past, will you take one last scuba dive with me? A peek down to the bottom of the valley, of the murkiness of muddy teenage dreams and broken, blurry memories. Bloody, like pieces of sea glass on the beach, sparkling in the light, illuminating the separation between those worlds and what's in between, adulthood and teen, reality and dream. Perhaps they're not as far apart as they may seem, and we can sit down and get high and drink stolen whiskey and toast marshmallows over the last of the dying flames of our teenage craze before we wander our separate ways and try and work out who we are again. in the big, bad, wide world, though it can't be any darker or any wilder than the ones we fought through in each other's heads, and we made out of those alive. Still, can't I just stay here with you on the edge where it's safe? Into this moment I long to disappear. Isn't it strange how when we look back, the fog we thought was killing us was nothing more than a light mist, and what we were looking for was in front of us and extremely clear. Maybe we'll come back here in years to come and lay still here and bask in the afterglow, remembering how it felt when every single step we took felt like a child's first steps in the winter snow. Every day, people tell me more things I already know. As I sit there and pretend to be interested as my eyes flicker with a tired fluorescent glow. Like I'm the main character in this twisted fucking freak show. A problem child, a fork in the road, a ghost in the machine. That's me. I don't even know what to give them. I don't want to give them anything. Why should I try and paint a perfect picture of what's in my mind when they won't even go as far as trying to understand the rough outlines, a tiny sketch? I stutter out pre-planned answers like a coked-up pop star at a press conference. They sigh under their breaths and wonder aloud, what happened? How and why did I let myself go? They see me as nothing more than a shadow, and like a fluorescent ghost, a dark reminder of a luminous past. What happened to that bright-eyed boy we used to know? I'm an echo. They don't stop to think that the answer to their questions might lie a lot closer to home. They can't see it. Maybe they don't want to. Sometimes it feels like I have a better grip on this than any of them, and I don't feel like I have a grip on anything. Maybe they want to numb me so then they won't have to challenge themselves to understand me. I'd rather be a beautiful, bright, sparkling young corpse than a breathing but dead behind the eyes zombie, slowly fading away. Sirens inside my skull shatter and shake my sight perception as I look into a mirror and see everything but my own reflection. It's not about rejection or striving for perfection. It's about survival. I blame myself for my reputation. I live recklessly, and yes, I'm sure that at some point soon it will catch up with me. But I don't care. I don't care about anything anymore. Whenever I tried to follow the rules, color inside the lines, I couldn't do it to save my life. So now I blaze my own trail and burst through the barriers that used to restrict me. They want me to slow down, calm down, follow the signs, wait at the red lights, but I don't want to spend my life chasing traffic lights. Who does? The thrill of the chase is the only place that I find some kind of comfort. The brakes to my brain broke years ago. In fact, I'm not sure if they were ever even there in the first place. The chaos and the collisions that they see as corrosive and corrupt and cutting are cosmic to me. The cobweb I'm spinning is made up of stardust and spitfire fumes. And they are just caught in my web. They don't see it, and I don't want them to. When my sight becomes a blur because of how fast I'm going, and when everything is wrapped up in skylines and streetlights and skyscrapers all become one. I'm useless, and I know it. I'm nothing. I'm not a human being anymore. Sensory shutdown. Keep your head down. Eyes to the ground. The demon in my head drowns out every other sound. The conductor of this cacophony of white noise that surrounds me. He laughs at me, giggling. I'm the dumb deer at the edge of the forest, and he's the lorry with blazing headlights. Douse me, drown me, take me. Murky. My world is murky. Misty. Muggy. My skin pings and pangs and punches like 1,000 tiny firecrackers are dancing on my skin, digging into my insides more and more with every jig of their tiny, burning, dancing feet. I'm drowning and I'm burning. I'm dying and I'm reborn. I feel like I'm about to burst, burn, blaze. I am an explosion of emptiness, a volcano of vast numbness, a vessel of unease. I am nothing but matter, and nothing I could do in this state could ever possibly matter. And in this state is where I stay. Maybe because it's safe. Maybe because when you're in it, it's fucking impossible to escape. A kaleidoscope of grey. The wool permanently pulled over my eyes. The itch from the sweater stinging into my skin, stinging my swollen eyes. It's no surprise. This is my surprise. This is my reward. The stab of a pen on my hand. The scratch of a fingernail stroking my cheek. Those first steps in snow that quickly turns into quicksand. Something so fragile and light can become as black and as heavy as tarmac in a second. I descend into a world that I can't explain, but I am willingly understand. In fact, it's the only place I do. I know it like the back of my hand. I'm fucking useless. I belong to the ground. I belong to the gravel, the concrete, the dirt. When I'm on the cold, hard ground, limbs in agony, blood rushing from the cracks in my forehead as the sky twists and turns around me, crumbling. My body blends with the blood and the rain and the gravel and the concrete as it flows down the drain. I flow down the drain. This is the only time I feel complete. Let me stay here on the ground. Bury me. Cover me. Smother me. Let me sink down to the core of the earth. I'm not built for this world. I don't belong here. I belong underneath. Take me, Persephone. Let me leave this body, this cage, this prison. Let me float as an entity through the vast darkness of space. Take me in your cold embrace. I can't stand another second in this space. Like dragonflies dancing in the sparkling low light. Time here is like the watercolor paintings of the waves at the intersection where day meets night. We spread our wings for the first and last time at king tide. Our transparent wings touch the beacons of light, and that's what we become. Beaming but not burning. How wonderful it is to shine just by simply being. It used to be that just breathing took up all of our might. Now we're illuminating the murky skies, casting spells on the sea of time in this fragile moment where reality and fantasy collide. Our darkest, dankest memories and delicately dazzling daydreams collide here in this moment, in the protection of the moonglow, where we can unwind. My inner child floods my body through hope, and suddenly I can see through his eyes again, and the darkness around me becomes a beautiful kaleidoscope as I beam with a bursting, iridescent glow upon the tides below. They used to consume me with their wrath, dousing me completely in the parts of myself I never wanted to see. I was flung around helplessly like a goldfish in a tank of sharks, as the angry memories sunk their teeth into me, ripping into my limbs like a frustrated toddler trying to get into a cheese string. Blacker than tarmac and bluer than the brightest butterfly wings. Ears blocked, limbs ablaze, and with salt in my mouth. This blurry world was where I was forced to learn how to see. After my eyes were ripped open by the rapids, I could finally see where the outlines were between the darkness inside of me and what was just me, as clear as a tide line shining on the shore after a storm. I realized that I didn't have to drown inside the darkness that lived in me. I was so exhausted from existing that it just seemed easier to die inside the fading afterglow of this memory. The fading VHS tape of my hope for a better place. And the joy I had long in the past wrapped its arms around me, its arms of illusion around me. My unsteady comfort blanket of sanctuary. Withering away there was where I found my peace. A cave under the deepest waves of the seabed. Anger shaking the walls like the echoing cacophony of a lifetime's worth of thunder and laughter rolling along the sides of a crypt. Just as I was there, I was about to give in. Allow myself to be rocked peacefully to sleep for the last time by the smoldering thunder of the memories. It was just there that I saw a flicker of sunlight out of the corner of my eye. And that speck of light was enough to reach the darkest, darkest caverns. When all you've known is darkness for so long that you can't even remember what looks like, what light looks like. Even the tiniest flicker can set your world alight. And as my weary bones were touched by this fragment, I was overcome by an untamable strength I knew like the back of my hand, but just couldn't name. A lifetime of darkness flashed before my eyes in a few seconds, with the rage and the fury that being caught in that sea for so long had given me. Every fragment of my body was struck by fire of might, like lightning. I felt the boy I used to be's roaring sense of light, suppressed for so long, suddenly come to the surface. I knew that in that second. I've got this. I swam to the surface, chasing this light, pulling it as I became more and more bright. I pushed through the surface with an almighty ease, like a geyser breaking through the ice. And I came up for air and I saw the horizon around me for the first time with all of my sight. Clear, crisp daylight. Suddenly, the skies cleared and the waves calmed. Now I am Poseidon. I am the god of the sea. I control what used to control me.